Hi, guys, and welcome to this week's live show with me, Mark Thompson, my good friend Tim, and our guest, who's suddenly not here. we
Dear.
have Chris Davis booked to come on the show today, who is a marketing automation expert. Obviously, he hasn't automated his alarm clock. It's 7 a.m. there, so I've sent him a couple of messages, so maybe he'll appear halfway through the show. So, myself and Tim, we're going to talk about whatever we want. No change from normal then, really. We'll cover a little bit of marketing automation, but I've actually got some stats I was going to talk to Chris about. And if he comes up, we'll get him straight on. Now, the interesting thing is I'm in my new office, which I came to see at 10 o'clock this morning, and I moved in within 10 minutes because I've got builders knocking down my walls this week, not the neighbours' walls. They're knocking down my walls. I had no control over it. I was told, no, it went through the AGM, and the community has to have all the walls knocked down. So I'm not a happy boy.
Unbelievable.
So lovely, I've got a lovely blank wall this week, but hopefully by next week I'll have a nice wall. So, what have you been up to, Tim?
Not a lot and a lot all at the same time this week for me. I've been Lean Greens has been a bit of an odd week because we, as predicted, we ran out of stock, but thankfully we got new stock in this morning. Allegedly, I've not heard any other for whether it's arrived in the warehouse or not, but which has allowed me to focus a huge amount on something else. And those of you who are in Project 212 and are going through the 5K method, if you're not a member of 5K methods, Mark will put a link, 5kmethod.com. But basically,
actually, a quick note about that. I'm switching it off to purchase from probably Monday or Tuesday, whenever I get my act together down in the office, and it'll be 197 from next week. So now's your last chance to get it. Yep.
Definitely worthwhile jumping on, guys. I have had.
Hang on, Chris has turned up. Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Chris, right. We don't have to win it anymore.
Yeah, my apologies. I had just a slight mishaps with my daughter this morning getting her ready.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
So, Chris, welcome. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
Let me just do it. Let's see if I can do it this way. That's better. Right. So let's forget everything we were talking about, and now we can actually talk about really good stuff.
Yes.
So Chris is a marketing automation expert. I've known you for 4 years. When did I buy Automation Bridge? Your automation stuff.
It was about 4 years ago. Yep.
And from that, we got an echo somewhere.
It's you, Mark.
Sorry,
it's you.
I'm not getting headphones on.
Yeah, let me do this. So just in case.
There we go.
Let me see.
Cool. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you still. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
I can hear you fine.
Is the echo gone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Right. So now the thing about this is 4 years ago, I bought your little automation course. And then you disappeared off to Activecampaign. And now you're back from outer space.
Yeah.
I don't see you standing there with that look upon your face.
It's, you know what, Mark? It's good to be back. It is.
And before, were you with Leadpages before that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was at Leadpages for 2.5 years.
Wow.
Building out that automated marketing system.
Go play Collins. Boo to the investors. Boo, you're in it. Oh, you mentioned we were quite opinionated here.
Yeah. Well, I tell people all the time, as an engineer, what my practice is, like my formal training is to get a spec and build to spec.
Yeah,
that's it, right? I don't really. I guess the best thing that I've heard was it's hard to look at your highlights when you're playing the game.
Yeah,
that's the best way that I could describe it. And when I went into Leadpages, I was just in engineer mode, build, do, and I didn't realize my skill set in understanding logic, analytics, and technology and putting it all together to produce a result in marketing. I didn't even understand what that was. So I didn't know, like, I was building out a marketing automating system. I just knew that I was using Infusionsoft. I needed to make money. I just left engineering. Like, I was just trying to figure it out. So when I did come up and like kind of look at the highlights, it's like, wait a minute, there's 37 million in the bank. How did we get that? Wait a minute, was that the system? So that was my awakening. That was the awakening.
It's cool because certainly from my background, like, my history of following various different people through internet marketing, it's like you kind of come across different people in different points, and the people that have really appealed to me have been the systemic kind of approach to marketing, the logic, and because my background coming from an IT background, the computer science and artificial intelligence background at university.
Wow,
this sort of stuff appeals massively, and it's why, it's why Mark and I have been really, really big on creating systems, and Mark's huge on creating a lot of automations and flows that produce a better result with the marketing, which is ultimately what we're trying to achieve here, isn't it?
That's it. That's exactly it, Tim. Exactly.
Yeah. No, so we've got a bunch of questions that we want to ask here, and a lot of it's, some people may not know your background, some people may not know who the hell you are. So give us the sort of like 30-second sort of idea of who Chris is, and why the hell should we listen to you?
Yeah. So the 30 to 45 seconds.
30 seconds. I'm only giving you 30 seconds. Don't push it.
Yeah, right. Hey, this is your first time. Don't push it. But my formal training is in electrical engineering. So that's everything that I do is founded in that approach, right? So 7 years at Lockheed Martin programming microprocessors for our nation's defense technology. And then I left. Actually, they left me. They got rid of me. Government funding was cut, and I was cut along with that. And that was my jump into entrepreneurship. So since then, I've started my own digital marketing. I don't want to call it an agency or firm. I do more of advising and coaching over there in courseware, but that opened the door to work at Leadpages as the head of marketing automation, and then recently finishing up at Activecampaign as the director of education. Both positions were totally new. That hadn't been created before. If you search director of education right now, nothing but university positions pop up. So both of those situations, I found myself having to create a position in a department, define it, and produce results. So
cool. So where did the position at Activecampaign come from? Because I get the impression it was kind of like you created marketingautomation.com and Automation Bridge. Sorry, you created Automation Bridge, and that kind of gave you the in with Activecampaign. Am I reading that right? Is that how it works?
Tim, you're 100% correct, and this is why I'm a strong advocate of your resume today is the content you display. Right? So it's
like I like that.
Right? Is how do you put your expertise on display where people can engage with it and say, hey, wait a minute, I can use that person, or hey, that really made sense. So I've used my blog as a means of putting my thought leadership and analytical approach into posts so that it does the proving for me. So by the time Activecampaign reached out to me, they had already been primed through my content. So yes, you're exactly correct, Tim. The same thing happened at Leadpages as well.
Cool. So
we have
go on, Mark.
I have a quick question from Dave. Okay, what area do you see marketers that do at the beginning of setting up an automation that kills them later down the line, especially on AC?
Listen, we can talk about specifically with AC, but this is across the board, Dave. And it is documentation and mapping out before implementation. Hands, I tell people all the time, start analog, finish digital. People, they get this idea in their head, and they're like, oh yeah, let me just buy this tool. And then they jump right in the tool and start going. And I don't know about you all, but the way that the space is fragmented now, there's no way you can accomplish. Yes, Mark. Mark, you know what? since we're sharing, there's no way. This is one. This is a simple one. Let me see if I got it right. Okay. Yep. There's a simple flow, right? I want to show you guys here's another funnel flow I was
nice
feeling out. I do. In fact, hold on. All right. One more. Which way am I going? This way. No. Other way.
That's it.
I see that.
Yeah. Whiteboard man.
I'm surrounded by it because I can be inspired at any moment and I don't want to lose it. And the fastest way to throw yourself off is to jump right into the digital, right? All of the logical and technical errors can be worked out on paper. A great majority of them, paper, whiteboard, whatever. Yeah. But and the reason why I'm saying this is because there's no one tool that can do everything. So you're going to have to use third-party tools, right? Now, as you start to add third-party tools, this thing that started so simple, I'm going to create a lead magnet, follow up, and then have a sales page, check out, and just add a tag, right? Like that seems so straightforward. But then you get, wait a minute, how do I get the link in my email to send them to my checkout page? Do I want to track how that email performed with getting people after they buy? I'm adding a tag. What emails do I want to send there? I need to give them membership access. I need to go find a membership plugin. And before you know it, you are all the way down in implementation without a map. And then when you finally pull up and say, okay, what the heck did I just do? It's just this big question mark. Your automations don't make sense. And I've seen the total opposite. When you take the time, Mark, as you've shown, and I've shown with my wife, if that's your blueprint. No builder builds without a blueprint. This doesn't work. So technology sometimes hurts us in that aspect where it allows us to skip steps. So that would be my answer, Dave.
So a question which kind of leads on to that is how do you perceive pre-built templates? Because we see an awful lot, certainly within various different CRM tools that are out there. You've got these flows or automations or whatever you want to call them, and you have a template library. And it's just like, okay, so with the template library, sometimes when I've downloaded one of those templates and I look at it and I'm like going, that doesn't work for me. And then and it really messes things up. So how do you see that?
Tim, I love this question because I had just went through an exercise where I challenged myself on this. So this is more timely than you realize. And what I understood about myself when it comes to building landing pages, I want to start with a template. When it comes to building like a website, I want to start with a template. There are so many areas in my life where I want to start with a template. And I tell myself, Chris, never start from scratch. Stop starting from scratch, right? But Tim, automation is totally different. It is so hard to understand someone else's logic. You get what I'm saying? So when someone creates a pre-built flow, I never trust it because it's just how I am. I don't trust their logic. I don't trust their thought process in getting to that. Whereas like in other areas, the template, you can get it and just modify it and change it real quick. But when it comes to logic, I can honestly say without a shadow of a doubt, I'm not exaggerating. I have never gone, and I'll speak about Activecampaign, especially since Dave brought it up. I have never gone in there and used any of the recipes ever. Yeah. I always start from scratch. Do you know what I reuse? I reuse my own automations.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can trust that it works. Then I say, hey, I'm creating another lead magnet. Let me just clone my previous automation, change up the text. I use a lot of message variables anyway, so it doesn't make it too hard. And then from there, I'll build. But it's something about logic, man. I'm never comfortable. I've tried it, Tim. I've tried it many times. Like, this looks like it should work. The second I import it, I look at it, and before you know it, 10 minutes in, I've deleted everything and just started building myself. So I'm like, okay, just start from scratch next time.
No, absolutely. You're back again, Mark.
I'm back again. I was connected to the Wi-Fi in the cafe, which is 2 floors down. In the office.
Oh dear. So I suppose one of the questions, that would probably help our audience more than anything else is like, once we've got like an idea of the automation that or automations we want to put down on paper and what we want to implement first, is there a particular type of automation that you would that you would start with? Say, for example, a list cleansing automation, or is it just a very simple lead magnet into a sales sequence, to send people to a sales page? What's the sort of thing would you recommend people get started on?
Yeah, that's a good one. Because I've watched myself. So I'm a very introspective individual, if you guys haven't caught on yet. So I'm always questioning myself in my own journey. And before, I believe if you'd have asked me this question maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it'd have been totally different. So this is coming from just a position of maturity and just seeing a lot. And I found to be true in marketing automation, the same as in I'm a big sports fan. So anybody that is great in sports, they do the fundamentals really well. Like there's nobody that doesn't know how to dribble that is scoring. Right. And then if you look at some of the greatest players like Tim Duncan and all of that, it wasn't a lot of flash. They were so efficient. Use the backboard, grab the rebound with 2 hands, pass with 2, you do the fundamentals and build upon there. So what I like to do is I like to start every business. I do not assume you have the fundamentals in place, because I've made that mistake. It's been a bigger company than me, somebody who's been in business longer than me. And I'm like, oh, surely they have the fundamentals. Let's just go and like add to what they have. And then you start adding and it breaks. And they look at you like, why did it break? And you're like, wait a minute, this should have worked. Then you look, there was no foundation, or the foundation they had was wrong. So the foundation that I like to start with all the time is capturing leads, right? There's 3 steps: capturing leads, following up with those leads, then closing leads. If you just keep it that simple, this is the basic framework for every business. We're talking about how to do that in an automated fashion.
Yeah.
But the ability to capture leads, specifically online, it continues to be a mystery that I'm still dumbfounded that people are just, how do you do it? Do I just post to Facebook and create a group? I've got 1,000 people in there. How do I send them to my page? Like, no, that's not, like, you're close, but you're out also far. So I like to start with, hey, how are you going to generate leads? And here's why. If we talk about lead generation, it forces us to get clear on our avatar. You can't generate leads if you don't know who you're talking to and what problem you're trying to solve. Now watch this. I can't finish my avatar exercise unless I know what I'm giving the avatar, which is my product. Right? And now I have to have my product fully fleshed out. And by fully fleshed out, I'm not talking about built. I've never sold a finished product ever. I've just been able to communicate in my mind what this thing would look like and put it on a sales page or in an email or whatnot. And when people see it, if they say, I want that, then I build it. Right? So the ability to take what you see as a product, clarify it for a specific audience, these are all the fundamentals. Right? Now, once I have that product market fit, it's tight. Now what I need to do is I've captured your information. I need to follow up with you. Many people just don't follow up, and their follow up is sorry. It's so weak, like, because they don't know where they're taking them. Right. So I don't know what emails to write because I don't know what in action I want you to take. So once you have the capture, the follow up, and then a way to receive payments online, which is still very complicated nowadays. I see people who have a single product checkout needs using Shopify. It's like, you don't need a cart.
No.
Checkout page, what are you doing? So those fundamentals, man, in place, fully functional, working. Every business needs that. And then I start to say, okay, now based on how that's performing, because we need data, right? We have to look at the data. You'll never find me making a decision without data. If somebody puts me on the spot and is like, hey, what should I do? Hey, can I see the top 10 pages in Google Analytics? Hey, how are you following? Like, I need a baseline, man. Like, I can't, I'm just not one of those people. It's like, sure, you should try this and Facebook. Yeah. I just can't do it. So that's where I start. Okay. Hands down, every business.
Cool.
Well, a question here from Randall. It says, hey, welcome to my list follow-up or something more in-depth.
Yeah, so Rando, it's a combination of both. So it'd be easier if I knew your business, Rando. If you could just say your business real quick. I like to give concrete examples. It tends to help understanding. But while you're doing that, what I like to do is, Mark, you know this. And Tim, you probably do too. You guys working together. Everybody knows that first email after somebody provides their information has the highest open rate. The highest. As Mark, I think you were talking about how you've kept your engagement pretty linear. But the average person, you're on an engagement curve. They opted in. Their attention is at an all-time high, and then it fades off over time. So Randall, I don't like to just say welcome on the first email because I have all of their attention. Yeah. Right. It's just like, hey, look over here. Hey. And then they look and you say, oh, hi. Just like you did all that work, you have their attention. Yeah. Say hi, like hello, shake their hand, and then tell them what's next. Right. That's what I like to use that welcome email for. Okay. Mark's 5K method. Yep. Oh, yeah. Education. Great. So, yeah, in the 5-day course. So the first, what I would like to do is in that first welcome is give them the first lesson. Right. I like to actually put a version of the first lesson on the thank you page just to get them excited to go to the email, and check the rest. But absolutely, you want to keep that first email welcome, let them know, affirm what they just did. Right. You always have to affirm actions online. OK. And in fact, a fully optimized funnel is one that is always confirming the action as you go. You're not asking, hey, if you filled out this form, you're not asking, hey, if you visited this page, you're saying, hey, since you've seen this here, right? It's not if, it's since. That's the difference, right? It's not, hey, if you attended the webinar, it's like, hey, since you were on the last webinar, I'm running it again. However, I updated some things. I just wanted to let you know it's been updated. Here's the link. That's totally different from somebody who has it. Hey, since you've never experienced one of my webinars, I have to let you know what you're about to experience. You get what I'm saying? So when I know the action, which we should always know the action that they've taken, I can speak more specifically to it. So in that welcome email, I want to affirm them. Hey, thank you for requesting my course, XYZ. But I'm keeping that to 2 to 3 sentences. Next is the meat, man. Get to the meat in the next steps. Yep.
Cool. I say that kind of very simple idea of affirming what somebody has just done is huge, because a lot of the time it doesn't matter what action they've taken. There's always that kind of like apprehension of, have I just given away my email address? Have I just given away my credit card information? Have I just bought something that I shouldn't have bought? That whole kind of like feeling of, is it just gone into the ether and never to be seen again kind of thing?
Yes.
So at least affirming, when you affirm what they've just done, it kind of gives them a lot more confidence that the action they've taken is the right action, and that opens up the loop to get them to do the next thing you want them to do.
Yeah.
On Active Member 360, which is a membership plugin, right? Because the password is generated, they say delay the first email for 5 minutes, right? So only 5 minutes. You would not believe the number of messages I get in the first 3 or 4 minutes, right, from people saying, I haven't received anything. Well, yeah. Yeah, give it 5 minutes to arrive.
Yeah.
But I mean, people quite often they're in panic mode when they buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's going to still hang around for a long time.
Yep. It's anybody that studies psychology, you understand the what is it called? Right. It's not buyer's remorse. It's I forget the professional term. I just had it. My mom just went through it. She bought a car and she's like, should I have done this? But we always have that. So when you give something away, and money is something of you, people don't understand. People look at money. There's no way to stop this. You look at it as you. That's mine. So when you give it away, you're giving something of you. Your email address is the same way. So when somebody gives something away, it's an emotional thing. And that's what marketing is, right? You're appealing to their pain, their immediate position, and saying, hey, I can move you. But guess what? People purchase, or people take action emotionally, and then they validate the action analytically. And if they can't connect the two, then that's where the retention factors come in. Now, how can I get them to connect the two as quickly as possible? Deliver as quickly as possible. Right. So like you said, Mark, if they pay for a membership, that first 5 minutes is critical, because I want to log in right now. Like I in fact, when I hit submit, I want it to be already logged in. You know, and the time is just ticking, and they're thinking, should I have done this? Maybe, wait a minute, will it work? Hold on, do I really need 5K more? Maybe I'll be okay. Maybe I'll just go back to work. Like all of this stuff just kicks in. So that's the power, though. That's the power of marketing now, is because we can be more immediate. And that's not been the case in the past.
It's funny because you get the people who would do some Shopify stuff and e-commerce stuff, the ones who ship from China, right? So 90% of people buy from Amazon because they're going to get it next day. Or in Tim's case, within 20 minutes or something, wasn't it? You ordered in the coffee shop and they were at your door when you got home.
I know, it's nuts. It's like the 1 hour delivery for Amazon. It just blows your mind. It's really insane.
Wow.
But yeah, in the e-commerce world, that's huge. If you can't if you can't satisfy somebody's worry about when they're going to get something delivered. You know, I run an e-commerce store, and it's not a household name brand that we have. So it's kind of like a lot of people, when they buy for the first time, the apprehension is way up here of like, is this company actually going to deliver? Which is why we see so many of our customers buy on Amazon. They see our stuff on our own website, and then they bounce to Amazon to go and buy our product from Amazon instead, which we don't mind. We still get paid, obviously, but it's like with Amazon, there's that, they know that it's going to come because they can, 99 times out of 100, it's always appeared from Amazon. So yeah, it is a challenge, and it's something we've looked at, certainly with our emails that we send out, the process that we go through to kind of give our customers confidence of that we're actually going to deliver on the thing. So we do an email automation. We also do a post as well. So we send out a piece of post separate from the product that goes out. So it's like a thank you card. But we also do things like, I don't know whether you've come across Bonjoro, where you do a video message. We've been doing those as well. Just to kind of, give people the confidence that we're actually real people here. There's human beings at the other end of the line. So it's stuff like that which makes a big difference. And you're talking about engagement, and certainly when people are clicking on adverts on Facebook, or if they put a comment on Facebook, having somebody respond, or having something respond, it might be an automation through ManyChat. But like, even if it's a human being, better if it's a human being, in my opinion. But at least it gives the person confidence that there's human beings behind the business. So huge things. So which then brings me on to the next question, which is about ManyChat and automation gone wild, where people suddenly realize, oh well, this is all just an automated bot thing that is messaging me, and it's not actual true engagement. How do you feel about that sort of split between, say, for example, a ManyChat bot and actually a real human being answering comments or responding to stuff? What's your sort of position on that?
You know what? We have to stay true to what they're for. I think anytime the tech gets abused, I'm always the first one off the ship. So the Facebook chat messenger was so easy to implement that people just really abused it, man. I mean, it's easier to set up a Facebook messenger bot than it is an email list. Absolutely. And we saw that. We saw people go in there, and sometimes it didn't make sense. And I'm getting bot messages from all sorts of people. Like, I visited a website, and it's just like, how are you sending me a chat message from a visit? And now you just ruined your chances of me buying, because now you're harassing me in a sense. So that's the thing that's always there. And that's the biggest hang up I've seen with messenger bots. However, I do like them. If we keep them true to what they really should be used for. So pre-customer is qualification. If you're not using your bot to qualify people and put them in the appropriate buckets or segments, we'll say, then you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Every single person, and I've seen this, I've seen more bots in the e-commerce space than any, right? But you still see a lot of good usage in like professional services, especially with coaches. Coaches use bots or whatnot. So the best example I would what's the name? Funnel Dash. Funnel Dash is a company that does advertising, but they have a bot flow. And what they were seeing is they saw an immediate increase in revenue when they started using the bot to qualify people. So they didn't automate the entire conversation. They used the bot as, think of it as a Facebook executive administrator.
Yeah.
Right. And saying, okay, where are you at? Right. And then once you know where they're at based on their engagement, then like you're saying, Tim, either a human jumps in or there's another, you take the conversation somewhere else. So that's one. And then of course, on the customer side, it's exactly what you said, man. At the same time where a company sends me a message on Messenger through Facebook before I bought, and it kind of like turns me off. If I've purchased, I enjoy getting that message in Facebook. Hey, we just shipped. Because sometimes I'm on Facebook. I'm not in my email because I check my email. I poll my email. I'm not just always connected, to my email. So if I get that, say, oh, wow, it shipped. That's a convenience to me. You see what I'm saying? So used correctly, I love them. The problem is a lot of people just really jumped on the messenger bot, messenger funnel boat and didn't understand how to navigate the thing. So
I think it's starting to mature. I'm seeing better experiences certainly with messenger bots, but there's still an awful lot of junk out there. But certainly, I think with the way that Facebook have changed the rules around marketing messages through Messenger, it's got more mature the way that we as marketers end up using the tools. So, which is a good thing. It restricts us in some ways, which is frustrating, but in other ways, it's actually this is just protecting ourselves from ourselves.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree, because one of the companies that I was advising, they were trying to message people who hadn't responded. I think the window was like 30 days or something, and Facebook wouldn't let them. They're like, this is crazy. And I was like, actually, that's a really good thing, because if they're not responding, it's essentially spam. You shouldn't be able to, just send messages to any and everybody. So yeah, I agree with that.
Cool.
Right, got a few little questions. So going back a little bit to the email sequences, would you sandwich in between lessons affiliate offers or wait until they are done? I was thinking that on the last email video of pitching client then. Right, so if we all have a go, I'll leave that there because it hides Tim. We want to go answering that. So the first thing is, I generally use the last video as education, and then I will talk a little bit about moving on and what other options they've got going forward. I will then follow up next day with an email and basically lay out their options. So they know something's coming. So if they're not going to open the email, even though they know something's coming, that doesn't matter to me, because they would probably never have bought anyway. But the people who are keen to buy will open the email. So, I mean, I very rarely pitch anything on education. It's like, that education, pre-sale, or a pitch. There's very little cross-pollination as far as I'm concerned. That's just my view.
I'll jump in there too. I agree with that, Randall. One of the things that I like to do, and I learned this is something that I learned the power of at Activecampaign. So let me just preface it really quick. I came into Activecampaign as a marketer, like working for Leadpages. Clay Collins is still the smartest marketer I've met. And I met a lot of the guy. It was like he was born with a marketing bottle. Like, what did you put in that milk? He just gets it, man. So moving at such a fast pace, I call it marketing boot camp. That's what I call it for me. I was ready to go. Like every start, I'm like fast, speed, go, right? And when I went to Activecampaign, I not only had to slow my pace, but I was not in marketing anymore. I was in education. And that was frustrating in the beginning because I wanted to generate leads. But then I said, what's the opportunity here? What's the learning experience that I can capture? And I said, you know what? What if you could provide a 100% pure educational experience where people knew you weren't trying to pitch them anything, their defense mechanism is down so that they can truly understand and learn what you're trying to do. And I would say in the past, maybe 5 years ago, Mark and Tim, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, you would have just been beat out by all of the email marketers because pitching and launching, that was so new and people were just really biting on it. Now that information online, the dissemination of information online is more commonplace, right? People are connecting, and it's a lot more saturated as far as everybody saying they could do something. You being able to educate sets you apart. So to Mark's point, Rando, in that course, I wouldn't put any offers, man. I really would. And if it was an offer, maybe it will be something subtle. Like if your course is on how to shoot videos with an iPhone, and there's a particular like case or a holder, like maybe you say, hey, and we recommend this holder, and then you go on to why it's important, and maybe that link is to an affiliate offer. But I like to keep, especially if it's a course, keep it purely educational, because on the end, like what Mark was saying, the day later, he sends us some options. They will appreciate, one, what you've done by you've blocked out all the distractions. You've let them be singularly focused on your education. And since you know what you're talking about, you've built the trust, like, and know factor. You've actually done the marketing through education. So now when it's time to put the offer in front of them, they will respond to it much better, you know? So, yeah.
I say the days of burn and churning your email list is thankfully long gone.
Yes.
Thankfully, we've seen the back of that. Although it does still obviously happens with some of the Warrior Forum stuff and all that kind of nonsense. But if you get onto the right, aka wrong email list, then yeah, you can you still see it.
Man. But they will remain nameless, Tim. I've been trying to unsubscribe from this one email list for like 5 years now.
Hi, Ryan.
Mark's not normally so subtle.
No. Hi, Russell. Hi, Ryan. Still on your list.
It's just like, God, I've reported spam. I've clicked every button. But you know what? I know what they're doing. They're keeping it in a CSV and they're just dumping it into the next system. And it's terrible, man. Terrible.
Dirty stuff.
Yes, I certain Mr. ClickFunnels does that a lot. Whether it's by accident or deliberate, I don't know, but it happens way too many times for it to be an accident.
Yeah, it does, man. Yep.
Another quick one here. Affirming the initial opt-in is good for GDPR too, correct?
Yeah, Mark, listen, GDPR scared marketers who were doing stuff shady in the beginning. You know, everybody that was doing marketing responsibly, nobody was up in arms. I didn't do anything different for me. And I know I'm in America, it's different in overseas. But overall, this is what I like to get people in the mindset of. And this is where it gets tricky, because who you learn marketing from, right? But what I have to do is unlearn, tell everybody, unlearn that garbage, and understand this. When you are clear, you are always in the clear. Okay. When you are, hey, listen, when you submit your information, you're going to receive 3 emails. After those 3, like, you can be very specific. By opting in, we'll be sending you marketing communication once a week. You'll also get occasional offers. Don't worry, at any time you can click a button and we'll stop sending them. And of course, you have to deliver, make sure when they click that button, you stop. But being very clear up front is what's going to help you regardless, because GDPR is just the beginning, everybody. There's going to be all kind of laws going forward and regulations of, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. As long as you're very clear and that person knows, okay, I just submitted my email for this. They know what they submitted it for, and you stay true to that. I will say, Mark, I will say there is a bit of a challenge staying true to that depending on the tool that you use. Because sometimes, let me use a concrete example, and this is what Activecampaign, okay? How Activecampaign functions is that you have multiple lists, right? And then you have automations. Using multiple lists in Activecampaign to get you in trouble really fast. And the reason why I say that is because you don't know the person's intent when they opt in is clear with how you're using lists. Okay. So they may opt in, and when they do that, you just added them to 4 lists. They're not aware of that. So now when they say unsubscribe, in their head, they're thinking no more communication from you. You're saying no more communication from this one list. I've got 3 more. I've got 3 more that's wrong. So now look, you honestly didn't mean to spam them, but they're still on other lists. You're sending communication to that list, and all of a sudden they're like, didn't I unsubscribe? I told this person no. And now they keep getting the email. So on your end for GDPR, and this goes back to mapping it out. Listen, I draw part of that flow chart that you guys saw is actually, I may turn it into a quiz funnel, but it's my segments. It's the decision-making process to where people end up in segments, right? I map my segments out, and I build my segments before people are even in them. You get what I'm saying? So I create that condition. Now, as they go through the marketing and they meet the condition, I'm automatically moving them between segments. So when I mail a segment, it's always the person, it's always the group of people that asked and know exactly what they're getting. So you do those things. It doesn't matter. It could be GDPR, GDPL, GDWR, whatever.
I certainly think with GDPR, it's improved the quality of the prospect, because it forced them to be more explicit about what they're opting into.
There you go.
And so certainly from our e-commerce background, for what we do in our e-commerce business, is like it kind of forces people to go, yes, I actually do want those extra emails, that extra help, that onboarding. And it means that people are way more receptive to the messages that we do send, because they've made a positive, yes, I want this, please, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And that's huge. And I think, it means that our lists are smaller, which is obviously not great for companies who charge you on a contact basis, per contact basis. But for us as marketers, it means that we don't have to have like a bazillion email subscribers to get like a crappy 0.5% response rate. We can now have a much tighter audience who are people who actually want to see our stuff. And that I think, for all of the sort of belly aching from a lot of people about GDPR last year, it has made us better marketers, and certainly the ones who are doing it properly and accepting and understanding the rules behind GDPR. It makes us go, yeah, actually we are putting you into this audience, this segment, so we can give you the right message for what you opted in for.
Yeah, because
I'm just reading Randall's message. GDPR, you get to choose, which is kind of right. And it's like, I maybe disagree with the use of the word spam.
Yeah,
but it's like, the customer's choosing what messages they receive, and it's like, I think customers do actually want information. They do actually want the emails or the stuff or the result of reading the email. That's what they're actually wanting. And as long as you realize that and cater for that, where you're giving them the result of being on the email list, that's the important bit.
Yeah, and we have to realize too, all contacts aren't good contacts, right? And it's okay to say no. Like in elementary school, we had out here, I don't know if you guys saw it, but we had a big drug push. It was like, dare say no to drugs. You would get the t-shirt and everything. And it was the first time that I remember as a kid being taught that it's okay to say no, like, because it's easier not to say anything, just kind of take everything. It's like, stand your ground, say no. If they give you some unidentified thing that they want to put in your body, say no, XYZ. Now we get to, as adults in marketing, and we're scared to say no. They're not a good lead, right? Like they used an email address that is like, you can tell it, like, don't email me, so they're just like, I just want to test their funnel, or I just want to see what you don't need to waste time on them. You know, so if something like checking a box on an opt-in or, you know, asking an additional question is going to turn them away, so be it. Like you said, Tim, smaller numbers, the email or the marketing platform may be like, dang it, we wanted more, but so we can charge you more. But listen, we're in the day and age, it's got to be quality, and people are just too busy. People are just too busy. You need to set the expectation and deliver it. If somebody, so there's two things. People are busy and they're in pain. And because they're busy, they're living in pain, which almost makes their pain normal. So in marketing, a lot of times we have to let people know, hey, listen, you went 3 months without generating the money that you need. That's not normal. Like, you can't keep operating like there's a hole in the boat. Water is getting in. Here's how to plug it. Like, don't keep operating like that. And when you position yourself like that, and they truly want to plug the hole, they want to listen to you. They want your information. Those are the people that you're really targeting. That's the messaging that you're sending, because I tell you what, those are the people that even if you sent an email and it went to the spam folder, they would email you, hey, I never got the email. All right. You know, you're like, did you check your spam? I'll check it, but can you send it again just to make sure? Those are the people that you want.
Yeah.
You don't want the people that aren't responding to your emails. You don't want the people that you have to use all these tactics and tricks to get them to click a button. Why? You know, at least for me, I've not seen that type of marketing work well without exhaustion, you know.
Right. Oh, one thing before we go, I want to move on to in a moment is about automation tools. But I've got quite a good question here.
Yeah.
Right, Tim, I warn you now, you're going to completely disappear.
Am I? Oh, dear.
And you're going to lose half of myself and
goes on the bottom.
There you go. Right. For those of you on the podcast, one of the best help desk experiences I've had that used bots was on Cloudways. The bot there quizzes you on your issue, sales, technical, etc., then narrows it down to a specific issue before turning you over to a tech. When thinking about bots, are you saying that you can basically do the same thing to help your customers pre-select what they want to buy based on their interests?
Got it. Randall nailed it. He nailed it. I mean, we can take a screenshot of that and just show everybody who wasn't able to make it. This is really what
it's better than having Tim there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right. Actually, I could probably go like that. And, there we go. Look, we can do that.
Photoshop Tim, in it, just so he was there. But that's spot on. And and when I say qualify using the bot or any automated messaging, honestly, it's not limited to bots, but to qualify, that's exactly it. Let me know what you're looking for, and then I'll put you in the right hands. We have to mirror that, Randall. We have to mirror that in our business. And what I like about it is the handoff from digital to physical. That's what I love.
It's interesting, the whole experiences of bots and automation, and I think of when we first came across ManyChat and the messenger bots and all this kind of stuff, and like it's sending you down like a pathway of like, do you want this or this? Do you want? And then the next question is like, do you want this or this? And it's kind of like, when you ring up your bank and you get into the phone system where they're going, select one if you want this, select two. That's kind of what it felt like when I first started using it. But actually, it's way more intuitive, it seems, through like a Facebook Messenger bot system like ManyChat or whatever the others are. Yeah. It feels more intuitive than press 1 to get customer service.
Yes, absolutely.
So in some ways, the experience has got better, but it's still essentially the same model, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is the same model. And you know what's better about it too, Tim, is the most frustrating part is when you go through those prompts and then you get a person and they ask you the same questions.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have to verify, but there has to be a way for you to ask like one question of the 10 that I just answered to verify it still be, instead of asking the same 10 questions. Like, that's just ridiculous. So for us, again, we don't have to do that because we have the data. There's no way you even get to this page if you didn't select this option, right? So we start off in a better position because people don't want to repeat themselves. If they've given their information once, you don't want to ask for their information again. I can always tell the maturity of somebody's marketing when I'm going through multiple steps, and let's just use like an online scheduling one, and they ask me for my email right, for the lead magnet. Then on the thank you page, they're like asking some qualifying questions. They ask for my email again.
Yeah.
And then when I get to the scheduler page, I have to put my email in again. It's just like, you know what? There are ways to pre-populate along the way here. So you're not asking me for information I've already given you, you know? Yeah. So to your point, Tim, I think marketers, I think we're leading the way, showing them how to do it in a way that's a lot less robotic, right? And a bit more personalized.
Right. So
tools.
Tools. So I am a big proponent, and I constantly teach people that before they get any tools, they've got to learn the techniques. Right? We call it techniques, not tools. So I'm going to, however, so I'm going to go completely against what I've said there. What, from a complete marketing automation thing, what tools do you think people should be looking at?
Yeah. This is a good question. So I'm aligned with you, Mark. In fact, in a few days, I'll be taking down my tools page, just because I'm that strict on never diagnosing a tool until I can understand your strategy. Because that's really, you're saying techniques, that's really what determines it, right? However, there are some tools that you should just let me start with the category of tools, and then if we need to talk specifics, we could talk specifics, right?
Dave, please.
Oh,
don't put words into our mouths.
Right. So let me say this. I believe in what I call a marketing layer. And that means the marketing tools and technologies should lay on top of your website. They should not be your website or in your website. If you're using a WordPress-based marketing software, I would put it on a subdomain, right? So yourwebsite.com, do something like go.yourwebsite.com or whatnot. And the reason being is because I have experienced myself, and I'm technical, my website has been down at the most random times. And I'm like, what happened? Whether a plugin or, whatever. When your website goes down, your marketing should never go down, right? So that's the first step, is have a marketing layer. So what's part of that marketing layer? You have to have lead capture software. You have to. This is not an option. You cannot create a page on WordPress and just put a form on there like Gravity Forms or something like that and say, I'm capturing leads, right? Like, you have to commit to landing page software, because you may start with the need of one landing page, but guess what's going to happen? Right when you create that one page, you realize you need to send them to a thank you page. That thank you page should be optimized. Then you're going to realize, hey, I need an offer page. That should be right. So the list grows very quickly. Now, let me park here on landing pages. I am so frustrated right now with the landing page landscape. And I'll just be honest with you. Lead pages, I feel like, had the best approach in how they integrated with tools. I still love how Lead Pages integrates with other tools. They're just not developing the platform as much anymore. Like, it could be a year or so and you'll get 2 or 3 updates. So then that forces me to go to ClickFunnels. Now, ClickFunnels, ClickFunnels is an acquired taste. And because the landing page landscape is so sparse in terms of like functional landing page software, that I've seen more people use it through necessity than choice.
Yeah.
Now, with any technology, everybody, you use it long enough, you get the hang of it, right? So I've used ClickFunnels enough to appreciate the approach. The execution leaves a lot to be desired, but I understand the approach. I get what Russell and his founder, the co-founder, the engineer person, I get what they're doing, with grouping and the pages. I'm torn, because some of it I'm like, if Lead Pages could group pages, but then keep the flow and the integration, and if ClickFunnels with this, but they have payment pages, it's not. So let me just say this. One thing that throws me off is how a button is separate from the actual form in ClickFunnels. That just a quick rant. Why? Why? For one, it's limiting because you can't submit contact information that you collected. 2, it's just weird. It's just strange. So anyways, every tool has their hangups. So when you're looking at a landing page platform, I found myself unbounced, is overpriced and underperforms for marketers. Instapage has done a great shift. I like the shift that Instapage did. And when I was at Leadpages, they were our competitor, but then they shifted to marketing agencies, right? And people running advertising. I think that was an amazing shift because that space was really unserved by landing page builders. Thrive Themes is good, but again, I don't like putting that on my website. I will create a subdomain website to do that. And plus, I just don't like WordPress page builders. Nothing against Thrive Themes. I've been on their podcast. Hannah and I have done a training. I actually will recommend them if somebody's like, no, I need a WordPress solution. But I like to keep my landing page software, hosted. So yeah, Dave, the struggle is real. So it's amazing to me how much we've matured as marketers, but landing page software has not. Isn't that crazy? So I'm still using Leadpages. I like to marry my technology, everybody. So as you know, a divorce is a process. I don't quit easily. So once I'm in it, I'm like, you have to really mess up bad. Okay. So that's that software, right? You also need a CRM, everybody. This used to be optional back in the day where you can maybe just have a mailing list. But if all you're collecting is name and email, you are shortchanging yourself. You are grossly shortchanging yourself. You need to know as much as possible about that contact. And by as much as possible, I mean, there's two ways to capture information: what they tell you and then what they do. So somebody could say, hey, I'm this, I'm interested in that. But then you look and you say, well, you're visiting these pages. I'm going to trust your behavior more than I'm going to trust, your form submission, because people lie all the time. Matter of fact, people lie all the time, but their behavior is you can extract more from their behavior than you can a form. So you want to use a CRM that can capture all of that data. If you're using a CRM that can't, at a minimum, capture website traffic, like what pages are they visiting? Listen, a lot of the stuff that we've talked about today is going to be hard. It's going to be hard for you to do and implement. So when it comes to that space, listen, guys, I can't tell you this. I have something upcoming, but part of this thing that's upcoming is a declaration of the state of marketing automation. And this is essentially saying, where are the competitors? Because the marketing automation space is getting pretty sad as well. Competition benefits us. Yeah. The consumer, the user, I should say, of the products. Competition is our best weapon. It's how we keep these tools honest. And I'm going to finish this up in 2 minutes, 2 minutes max, everybody. But this is very important. This is very important. If you were an experienced marketer 5 years ago, 5 to 7 years ago, all you had for marketing automation for small businesses, Infusionsoft and Entreport. That was it. I'm not exaggerating. There was no other options. Everyone else was doing email marketing. Aweber, GetResponse, some iContact. MailChimp was there, but affiliate and internet marketers weren't using it because MailChimp was very strict. Yeah. So that was the tech landscape. As time went on, and I witnessed this firsthand, I was Infusionsoft certified. I'm on the Infusionsoft team, and they just couldn't keep up with the development of the platform with respect to how the market was maturing. And they excluded themselves out the race. Nobody punched Infusionsoft in the face. It was like, we have the market now. Infusionsoft literally stopped paying attention. So they turned their back and was focused on something. And it was hard for them to really turn around, right? Then you look at Entreport. Entreport was my first love, everybody. Office Autopilot. I thought Entreport had it. Listen, Office Autopilot, I thought it was going to be the future. Landon, to his credit, he acknowledged he started off, he's a stock guy. He didn't know software development, right? So the whole Entreport change of name was him committing to say, hey, we're going to build a real company, this and that. For whatever reason, they just haven't been able to get a market share. Like Entreport is known more overseas that I find, especially in Australia. A lot more people are using it over there. And then there's communities over here, but it just hasn't penetrated the market. So now it left the marketing automation space vacant, and Activecampaign just kind of slid right. It's like, hey, there's a crown on the ground. Nobody wants it. We'll put it on, right? So with that respect, there was nobody challenging the throne. It was just inherited by default. So we're at a place now where I'm truly questioning, where are the competitors? Who's keeping everybody honest? Infusionsoft is not keeping Activecampaign honest, right? Maybe Activecampaign is keeping HubSpot honest or some other, but it's like for the small business CRM user that needs marketing automation, you're all rolled. If you want something flexible, dynamic, that, you know, really fits your needs, can integrate with a lot of third-party tools, you don't have many options but Activecampaign. And I use Activecampaign, worked there, right? But as a business owner, I'm still nervous about that. You know, like, I need options, man. I need a backup plan. My backup, I can't go back to Infusionsoft. I've been spoiled.
Yeah. So I don't think many people can go back to Infusionsoft.
It's hard. Now, if they make some amazing change, which they can't, you guys know how tech is. It's hard to change your entire infrastructure. So that's that. So you need a CRM, and it needs to be able to collect information, because that's the information that you're going to use to personalize. Remember, everybody, there is no personalization without information. You have to collect information to personalize your marketing. And if you are wondering, personalized marketing is the marketing that stands out right now. It is the highest performing marketing. It's personalized. Lastly, because I'm sticking to my fundamentals, you need your payment processor. Now, this space is getting better, but it's still confusing. It is. So you either need a single page checkout or you need a shopping cart. And there's decision-making processes through there. But for the most part, if you're in the service industry, you do not need a shopping cart. Please do not sell a consultation via Shopify or WooCommerce. Oh my God. Let me not, you guys see, I can get on a lot of rants and tangents because I see so
being great around here.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like, wait a minute. Did you just have me add a 30-minute consultation to a cart, select checkout, put in my shipping address? Like, dude, I can't even talk about it. It will frustrate me. So anyways, you need some technology. Now I like to talk about shopping cart page checkout technology. Well, I'll use that for another time. I don't want to prolong it, but for the most part, ThriveCart is a great solution. ThriveCart is probably, they're grossly underpriced right now. We've been benefiting by that, right? Especially the lifetime access folks.
$147 I paid for that.
Oh, wow. So you got it even cheaper than me. Wow, yeah. Mark. Wow. But you have to have that, right? And again, I don't want my shopping cart integrated with my website. I just don't. If you're using e-commerce, that's integrated. You have it. That's fine. But you know, like ThriveCart is great.
Wrong one.
Get off the fence. but you know, ThriveCart is great. Spiffy is a new tool. Be on the lookout for. Infusionsoft guys, I know them personally, have worked with them personally. Mike and Jeremy, they've got a tool that's called spiffy.co, and they're taking all of their experience from Infusionsoft and building it out for Activecampaign and other tools. That's really solid. That pretty much takes me to my end of list for, well, I would be remiss without mentioning Samcart. Samcart is good. I like Brian and Scott Moran over there. They do a good job with that. And then, of course, you have your ClickFunnels. Those are the four main players I see, though. You know, every now and then you'll see something pop up like MoonClerk. You know, MoonClerk is fine. I don't have anything against MoonClerk. I would never use it, but I don't have anything against people that do use it. I'm always looking at integration, man. ThriveCart integrates so deeply with Activecampaign and Infusionsoft. Is just like, I get my billing automation handled for me. It's got Dunning. It's got, you know, all of that.
I think that's the key bit, though, isn't it? It's like your marketing stack, you know, what you ultimately choose, it's got to be about those integrations. And, you know, certainly from my perspective as an e-commerce business owner, it's got to integrate. It's got to be either an app or something on Shopify, or it's got to have a tight integration with Shopify. So I choose my CRM based upon tight integration to Shopify. So we use a tool called Klaviyo, which it's a great tool. It's so tightly integrated to Shopify, but I wish it had some of the functionality that Activecampaign has.
No.
And it's like, But then there's Drip, which doesn't have quite as tight an integration with Shopify, but has some of the Activecampaign stuff in it. And it's kind of like nothing quite fits. It's really frustrating. But totally get your point. But you say all these things need to work together. And I really appreciate all of this stuff. You've given us way more of your time than we ever thought you would give.
I blocked off more than enough for you guys.
And I say way more of you and the information that you've given. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely golden.
Really good stuff. So if somebody wants to find out more about you, Chris, where's the best place for people to find you?
Yes, automationbridge.com. If you guys, hey Mark, I'll create a link for your audience. What's the name of the company? You guys' company. I like to name it.
Serious Marketers Only. You can do Serious Marketers Only or SMO.
SMO. All right. So automationbridge.com /SMO. By the time this is live, you'll go there and
already.
Oh, we're live. Well, wait a minute, everybody.
Don't go yet.
We've been live for the last hour.
So everybody watching the replay, but automationbridge.com /SMO. And what I'll do, everybody, you can go to automationbridge.com and get the course too. But I have a course that walks through that engagement piece. Randall, it'll be great for you to just kind of see how I administrate that course or deliver that. But everybody else,
it's a great course. It's free.
What's that?
It's free as well. Your course.
Yeah. It is absolutely free. It's gonna cost you your name, email, and one qualifying question. Okay. And then you'll be able to go through that. I took the time. Listen, everybody. I hope you all appreciate it. I don't go light on the education. So I took the time. I'm whiteboarding. I'm mapping stuff out. It should be so clear to you, like everything to do. And I've covered a little bit of it here, but that is what I would submit to you all. So automationbridge.com for those live right now. Just go. It's right in the header. You can't miss it. I'm a marketer. You don't have to search for my buttons. But
when,
specific link.
When myself and Tim get around to organize another live event in United States this time, you're probably going to be a keynote speaker.
There we go.
Whether you want or not, we're going to kidnap you.
Whether you say no or not. This was not an invitation.
No, you are going to be a keynote speaker.
I'm all for it, man. I love you guys. I love your approach, what you guys are doing. So I appreciate it.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Right. Anybody? We've got a few little quick questions. We might as well. You got another sort of 5 minutes?
Oh yeah. I'm good. You guys got me fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm like, yeah, I haven't done this in a while.
Okay. So, quick one, right? Straight answers. RAC, a marketing automation tool or a CRM?
Both. AC,
So,
marketing.
my reply was marketing automation. The CRM is functional.
Hey, that's a good one. That's actually a great tagline. Great tagline.
The wallet keep businesses honest by voting with their money.
I validate.
Unfortunately, the only thing with that is when there is no alternative, you're stuck. Yeah. It's like ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is never going to improve drastically. Their membership stuff is still crap.
Oh my!
And to a certain extent, that they see as well. And some of the stuff that they see, like the email editor, that's never going to improve until somebody starts really like challenging them.
That's it. And what our wallets are one, but we can't always use our wallets because if we don't, then we're at a disadvantage. If we don't, it's like, I'm not buying that until you change it. You're like, oh my gosh, how are my children going to eat?
Yeah.
It kind of got us, but that's where competition comes in. That's where competition. That's why we need more competitors.
Okay. I've heard that old school static pages are loved better than WP sites. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. It depends on what you're asking for. If you're
back, Dreamweaver.
Oh my gosh!
Right now, tell me that WordPress.
Yeah, the technology has advanced so much to get a static page to perform. I guess if you've already built that muscle and you're like used to it, sure. But I just use WordPress there.
Yeah,
really well.
Is there a tool that pulls your site being up, and if it's down, automatically redirect to a backup page on another host? Not heard of that.
Yeah, I know that there's plugins that you can, if you're using WordPress, there's plugins that can send you a notification that your website is down or there's a conflict. But no, not one that would be interesting though, if you could just like redirect them to a page instead of getting the 404 error. Yeah.
That would be actually quite interesting. But then again, most places are hosted on AWS, and if AWS is down, nothing's going to work.
The whole world is screwed if AWS goes down, as we see. Yeah,
it really is. Okay, I think we'll call that a day. Chris, I really appreciate your time.
No problem.
And we'll definitely get you back on again, because we could go on for hours about this.
We really could, man.
Oh, here we go.
This was just the surface. Uptime robot.
Yeah.
That must be one of those tools for the
okay, yeah, I'll check that out. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna check.
Cool. As I said, pleasure.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks very much,
Chris.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Oh, here you go. Get yourself a big head before you go. See you, man. Bye.